All right, gang, welcome back to our island preservation here on Ronida Island. It is still September. I've made the change, or the decision, I guess I should say, which is a bit out of my normal comfort zone, to allow myself to do multiple episodes on the same month. I don't think it really makes that big of a difference, especially since we're not playing seasons. I don't think it matters, and so that's what we're going to do. Now, in the last episode, you saw we're struggling a bit. We've got $3,777. Now, recently on Mod Hub, thank goodness that this finally came out on Mod Hub, we have a new mod that has been installed which has hand-pushable items, specifically like this manual seeder, among numerous other things. Now, it's going to take me a lot longer to do this manually, but given the amount of money that we don't have, I think this is the way we're going to have to go moving forward. Now, we might end up having to sell some of this equipment as we move along, but I do think that is the best approach, so we're going to have to go to a even more extreme in utilizing hand cart pushable items to do a lot of the stuff that we need to do, right? I think one of the big things also to consider is that there's a forklift out there. I was trying to figure out, all right, so these pallets specifically, and I think a couple of you mentioned a comment about it, how am I going to get the pallets up because these are not liftable and bale and pallet mod compatible? It's a great point. The thing I was planning to do initially was to put a fork on the back of the tractor. Would be a little rough because I'd have to basically make a ton of trips with the tractor. But the other option we have is we can buy a hand manual forklift here for $200. This will work. It should, in theory, be able to raise the pallets up high enough to put them on the trailer. Now, to be fair, we're not going to be able to stack a whole lot of them on top of each other, but it should work. And really, we only have one greenhouse anyway. Well, one insect house anyway. So it's not like we're going to have a ton of them right off the bat. So that's kind of the approach we're going to kind of move forward here with is since we have very little money and I don't know necessarily if I want to get rid of equipment that we have. I think we're going to go with the hand cart type of things, at least for the time being, until we can actually start to produce a little bit more money for ourselves. So having said all of that, I'm going to get started right off the bat here with getting the seeder, and we're going to get started on doing that. Now, the big problem I think we're going to have here, well, quite frankly, the problem we're going to have is it only holds 300 liters of seeds. Is that going to be enough to do our field? I really don't know. I feel like we're going to have to make a couple of trips here, or bring the tractor and the trailer down there and put a pallet up on top of that. That's probably what we really should do. Now, I don't know for sure, and one thing I want to take a peek at here is I don't know for sure if we can pick this up by hand. It does not appear we can. Now, this is the thing I'm talking about, right? This is the issue that I have being on console. I don't have the luxury of having super strength, so I can't just pick this up and huck it on top of the trailer. That means I'm going to have to run this all the way back to our land, right? So it's not ideal. That's why I'm saying this makes it more difficult on myself, and that's why I'm allowing myself to break the rules ever so slightly from what Crestu has mentioned, and allow auto-selling for myself. Is that going to help in this instance when we're trying to do this kind of stuff? No, it's not going to help. It's not going to help at all. But you know what? It is what it is, right? I wanted to take this challenge on. I wanted to really give myself a true extreme challenge on console, and that's what we got ourselves here. So we're going to head on back. Now, what are we going to put in the ground in that field? It's a great question. I don't really know the answer to it right now. I'm kind of leaning towards... I'm also considering selling that equipment that I said I wasn't quite sure if I wanted to sell it or not, because I feel like we have enough grass as it is for the sheep or for the goats, sorry, for a long, long time. We're not going to have enough money to put any more down for forever, really. So I'm kind of going back and forth on that. There may be a situation where I do end up selling that stuff. It's not likely going to be today, just because this is going to take us most of the day to get this field seeded, I would expect. And that's not to include anything else that we may or may not have to do today, right? We're going to probably buy some more of this hand equipment for a little while. And so you might be saying to yourself, well, if you're going to sell that stuff, then why are you even going the hand cart type approach? Well, there's a couple reasons for that. One, if I sell some of this other stuff, what we can do with that is expand the area that we have for sheep, goats, whatever. We can add more animals to it. We can add more greenhouses, right? All that stuff is things that I think we probably need to do. Looking back at the first 2 episodes, I don't think I exactly started it correctly. I don't know for sure if this was out yet or not. It may have been, but I do know that this mod that I'm utilizing right now with all these hand push tool cart like things was recently released on Mod Hub. So it very well could have been, but it is what it is, right? I started off thinking I was going to be in a good spot, but now that where we are, where we have $2,195 in the bank account, not quite sure I did really start the right way, but we'll get it sorted out. It just means we're going to have to go even further back to the basics of doing some hand seeding, planting, harvesting, etc. Which isn't really a terrible thing, right? This is supposed to be an extreme island challenge anyway, so I feel like maybe even starting with these would make even more sense, right? If you think about it. But anyway, we're gonna head on up here and get started. And like I said, I have no idea how long this is going to take. What I can tell you is, if we run out of seeds, which I expect we're going to, maybe we won't, but if we do, I will likely buy that forklift, and I'll bring the tractor and the trailer down there, and then get the seeds up on top of. Actually, you know what? We bought a liftable pallet, didn't we? I think we did. Won't even necessarily need the forklift right now, but we will need that forklift soon enough when it comes time to start selling the crickets, right? That or going with the other forklift approach I talked about, but I think it would be smarter for us just to buy the hand forklift, because we should be able to get multiples on the actual trailer versus only being able to pick up 1, possibly 2, and go in and having to sell them and then bring them back, right? So I think overall that's probably the smarter investment, no matter which way we cut it. So, yeah, this is going to take a while. But let's get to work. What are we going to put in? Evidently, it has soybeans in this, and pretty much has everything in this. This is fantastic, actually. You know what? You know what we should consider doing? I think we should consider doing cotton. Reason why is because I do know that there's a hand cotton harvester, which I've been asking for a cheaper cotton harvester for months and months and months. But I'm almost positive. Yeah, here you go. Manual cotton picker. That cotton could make us a lot of money, right? If we're able to get the cotton in there, we could then turn it into clothes using like grandma's knitwear or whatever, some kind of a mod. That could make us a ton of money, gang. Makes me also consider wanting to put some sheep down too, just to kind of go heavy on the clothes. I think that might be a smart investment. I was putting the goats down because I was actually planning on doing bottled goat milk or aged goat cheese or something like that is what I was planning on doing, because we know that makes us good money. But the clothes, if I'm able to put cotton in the ground here, which clearly it says I can, and I'm able to harvest the cotton, I think that's the way we're going to go. Yeah, let's go with a cotton field, and we're going to make some more fields. I don't know if it's necessarily if we're going to make them today or not, but we're going to make some more fields. Yeah, the one thing I don't want to do is I don't want to just kind of scrap every single thing and start over, because we would basically just be losing like 20 grand if we do that. Well, around that. Probably a little more than that, as a matter of fact. So we're going to see how this goes. It's going to take a while. Let's see how far we can get with the cotton here. Let me look at all the details here on this. Let's see. Unfold seed, or unfolds it. All right, we got to unfold it, evidently. I don't know what that actually did. We're putting it in the ground right there. Look at that. Interesting. Okay. Well, this is it's not quick, but you know what? It's not bad. I don't mind this at all. This is actually kind of it's kind of fun. I don't know if there's going to be any kind of a GPS. I would assume. I guess there is GPS. Look at that. I'm not sure how you would have GPS in this instance, but whatever. We'll take it, I guess. All right, well, we've got the GPS going. I'm going to turn this off. We're going to get started. All right, well, I actually quite liked this gang. This was a lot of fun, actually, surprisingly. I thought it might be a little bit of a miserable situation to try, but I actually really enjoyed it. It is a little bumpy. I'm not sure how great that will be in a time-lapse. I guess I'll figure out when it comes to the edit. But, yeah, it actually was a lot better than I expected. And we're going at 6 miles per hour, so I really can't complain. I'm getting a hell of a workout right now. I'm going to tell you that. 6 miles per hour pushing this thing. I don't know how heavy it is, but it's got to be. It's got to have some weight behind it, especially going uphill. So this has been more enjoyable than I thought. I think we're going to have to, early on, for obvious reasons, we're going to have to keep the fields small. This is probably the largest I would go for a field, right? But yeah, I actually quite enjoyed it. Now, is there a roller approach for us with this thing? I know some of you are like, you hate rolling. Why would you even look at it? Well, there is not a roller. Okay, there's not one. We'll have to pay for one later on. We're going to have to deal with the rocks for the time being. I mean, we're going to have rocks no matter what. But if we had a roller, we could push down some of the smaller rocks, right? Which would, overall, be a little bit better for us. But, hey, man, it worked out well for us. I'm happy about this. Very, very happy about it. So, that also means is we're going to kind of continue our process here of making more fields. Now, the big problem is obvious. I don't have tons of money right now, right? We want it to be that. We want it to be closed. Okay. I was just kind of figuring out how this thing works, and it's just closing the flap that sends the seeds down to the bottom and rolls them into the ground. All right, so I don't really know where I'm going to put all my... I guess I'll just kind of leave it here in the middle somewhere. I mean, it's going to probably be in the way. I always put things in the way, unfortunately, when I don't have an actual yard set up. And right now, it's not really something that we want to factor in is any kind of yard of any sort. So, okay, we'll drop off of that. Okay, so we've got that in the ground. Now, we can't utilize solid fertilizer in this series, right? It has to be all kind of... organic, so we have to take, slurry and etc. From, well, pigs or cows, really. We don't have those yet. We're not going to have those for a while, unfortunately. But, yeah, we've at least got this started. So let's continue that process. As far as a plow goes, for the hand plow, I don't know how... I don't even know what we're going to be looking at here. So we've got a 2-meter width one for $200. It's not terrible. This is 2.4 and it's 2,500. This is 2 meters and it's $200. So I feel like this is the one we're going to go with here, gang. And I'm going to keep our blue setup going here. So $220. Let's go pick that up from the shop. Also, did not take hardly any seeds at all to do that entire field. So that was fantastic. Now I'm going to put something else in. We're not going to put cotton in again. We'll put something else in, and then we'll probably have 2 cotton fields, I think, at some point. But gotta start the engine. That's hilarious. But it won't be cotton we're putting in today. I'm not quite sure which one I want to do. I'm thinking... Honestly, I'm thinking like a wheat or maybe a sorghum or a barley or something like that. I think chickens are probably a smart investment for us with some of this because we can get eggs, and eggs, as we know, make a decent amount of money. We also can try to... utilize some other productions with some of the eggs. Eggs and flour or whatever. We can try some spaghetti approach or something along those lines, right? Or we can do something else. Even we can just make some kind of a dairy product, cake or whatever. So yeah, I think that's the way to go. Now, as far as where we want to put this field at, since we're going to be walking that for a while, we're only going 5, so we're going a little bit slower. I think... Honestly, I think I'm going to do a field that kind of starts somewhere in this vicinity here and goes this way. Maybe I should mow it up, although we have plenty of grass, but maybe I should mow it up. It probably wouldn't hurt for us to have just tons and tons of grass over here, and then that way, whenever we need it, we have it. I guess I could go this way with it. Make a kind of a weirder shaped field, but again, I don't want to make anything super big as far as the fields go. I'll tell you what, I think we're just going to start a field somewhere in this vicinity here and kind of cut out this way and go down to here. And it'll be a smaller field, but I think we're going to do that. Yeah, I think that's probably the best approach, maybe. Since I'm actually enjoying this hand cart setup, I'm really tempted to get rid of these things. Let's see. While we're going to be doing this for a while, clearly. So while it's happening, what do we have from a mowing standpoint? Is there any kind of a hand mowing? There is a push mower. It's only 1.2 meters, though. It's not very large. Kind of think I'd keep the double bar at that point. The double bar is not that expensive, so I'd probably keep that. Baling-wise, I think there's a baler. I think. I'm not sure if it was included in this pack or not, but I'm pretty sure I've seen a hand baler out there. Is it something I want to do? I really don't know. Probably not. Probably not, but I really don't know. What else do we have? Harvesters. I think there's a hand harvester. Yeah, there's a couple. So we got a manual grain harvester, hand potato, sugar beet, multi-fruit. So all the other fruits and manual vegetables. What's the difference between manual and hand? I don't know. But yeah, we pretty much can do almost everything with these hand tools. I mean, these things are a lifesaver for us right now. But, I mean, they're just really slow to get to where we need them to be at. But they are a lifesaver. I'm surprised that the rice harvester doesn't appear in there. There's a manual rice planter that we could do. So we could do a rice field. And then we could take the seeds from our greenhouse. That might be the way to go. Although we don't really have the money to put down one of those fields. It costs quite a bit. So, this is interesting, man. I'm ecstatic that we found this. Really am. Here's a manual weeder. I mean, we're going to be doing this at a small pace here for a little while, but you know what? I don't think it's going to take us too long. It's going to require a couple of harvests, of course, but once we get a couple of harvests done, I'm not sure it's going to be terrible. I really don't think it'll be that bad at all. The harvesting here should put it in pallets, I think. Speaking of that, actually, I should look at that. We still have plenty of time. We're still far away. Do I need to buy pallets for this? How does this work? I guess not. I don't exactly know how this works. This is a little pricey, though. It's $1,500, so it's not the $200 that we've been seeing for everything else. But, yeah. Interesting. Is there any kind of hand slurry? There's a manual slurry spreader. Are you serious? Oh, that's actually fantastic. Look at this thing. It's just a tank. It's just a tank. That's awesome. Okay, well. Actually, you know what? Maybe we should go down here. Maybe we should make the field down here. I think we're going to. Just a random change of plans out of nowhere, but I think we're going to. Now, this, like I said, it's going to take a little bit longer, so I don't exactly know. I'm not exactly sure how far I should go here. This is a pretty large field. Something like in here, I think, maybe. I don't have access to this land. Okay. I better turn on the map here so I can actually see what I'm doing. We definitely do not want to be planting or plowing, I should say, a field. Ooh, can this not create fields? Allow create fields. There we go. I thought I had switched that on, but evidently I did not. All right, so let's try to keep this as straight as we can make it here. This isn't bad. We're going 4 or 5 miles per hour with the plow. That's not terrible. I would say that's pretty close to the normal speed you would go with some of the other plows. All right, I think there is going to be about as far as I'm willing to take this. I really don't want to have an issue where I go too far and then we're planting stuff in the ground that we can't harvest, right? I really don't want that to happen. Yeah, this isn't going to be a bad size. This will be a decent size, right? So the next episode we do will be in October. This will be the last episode in September. I think, like I said, I'm just going to kind of play it by ear, depending on how long I want to do an episode in a month. And eventually, when we own a heck of a lot of land and we've got a lot of stuff going on, we're probably going to want more than one episode a month anyway, right? We're going to have so much to do. It's going to be really difficult to keep up. Let's see, how's that look size-wise in comparison to that? Not even close, but yeah, let's go a little bit further here. I'm not going to go too much further because we're going to start getting into some more flat land here. I mean, although this is relatively flat too, but we'll go to, I don't know, say here. Oh, whoa, well, I thought I lifted it up and I didn't. Well, I just screwed that up a bit, didn't I? Oh well. We can fix that later on. You know what? You know what we're going to do? We're going to go down here and go straight with it, because I'm afraid I might go a little bit too far. It's going to be much easier going at it from this angle. So, I mean, that kind of shows you, how far over we're able to mow that may not even necessarily be our land, right? Still jumping a little bit, but it's not terrible. Now, as this being a grass field, I would suspect that we have at least one layer of fertilizer here, right? All right, that's going to be good enough. May not be perfect, but it's going to be good enough for me. Very, very happy with this, man. This has been a lot of fun. A lot more enjoyable than I expected it to be. All right, well, let's get the rest of this field all plowed up here, and then we can get something in the ground. All right, we got all that done. I ended up doing a second field because I figured, well, why not? You know, some of that grass wasn't mowed, but that's all right. It's a much smaller, skinnier field. I'm not going to drill that one today. That will be saved for the next episode. But we are going to drill the one on the far right, the first one we did. What are we going to put in there? Ooh, onions might be fun. Let's see. What's the harvester for onions? Because I still have not done onions yet. And I would like to. I'd love to have that harvester. We're nowhere near that. Even if we sold everything, we couldn't get that. Okay, so onions. I'm assuming it's one of these we'll be able to do onions. This one right here. I don't know. I mean, it says we can do them, right? I'm kind of tempted to go for it. But maybe we save the onions for the smaller field over here. Yeah, let's save the onions for the smaller field over there. I'm gonna do sorghum over here because we can get chickens pretty quickly if we do sorghum. Sorghum is a pretty fast-growing crop, and they should. Well, I guess I should look, shouldn't I? The thing I plan to put down for the chickens, it should accept them with sorghum. I mean, all of them should be. They shouldn't be any changes there. Yeah, they all accept sorghum. So, yeah, let's go for it. Fast-growing crop, help us get the chickens in the ground. Will be a really good thing for us. This has been great, man. This has been worked out way better than I expected. I left the last episode in a bit of disarray, considering how much money we had and really how little we had completed. And I thought we were in serious trouble, but very lucky that this is out there. I have not watched Crestu's third episode, but I think he was kind of taking a very similar approach. I don't know why I went that way. It's a habit. But I think he was taking a very similar approach with, his, because he probably was in the same situation as I am. I know he was. He was down to a small amount of money after episode 2 as well. So I'm a little upset though that there's, and maybe I can find one because the baler's not out there, right? We already talked about that. There's no but there is one out there for a hand baler. There is one, but it's not out there part of this pack that I downloaded for this. And I'm actually surprised there's not a roller. You would think that would be almost as easy as it is to make these. But, yeah. For whatever reason, there's not. So I guess I'll have to do some research to see if I can find one. Not that I have a whole lot of excitement for doing the rolling, but, yeah, I don't know. It just surprises me that there's not one in part of this pack. So the only other reason why I would imagine that it's not a part of this pack is because there's already a good option out there for a roller like this. The ones I have, obviously, way too expensive. Even if we jump to October right now, we're not going to have enough money to purchase one. We'd either have to sell something or we'd have to wait quite a few more months. And by then, this is already germinated, right? So I didn't really come prepared with the right shoes, though. I'm rocking the sandals out here. I wasn't expecting to go down to this level of farming, but hey, it's working out. I haven't slipped a whole lot, so we're doing all right. Now, realistically, the next episode, we should probably mow the rest of the grass over here. We really probably should, instead of continuing to create fields like I'm doing now with, creating fields on part of the grass that has not been mowed. We really probably should mow it. Like I said, we may have plenty of grass for a long, long time. We're going to, actually, as a matter of fact. But I might as well mow it. It's there. It's free grass that we can utilize for our animals, so I might as well do so. So I think next episode we'll get probably the rest of the grass all mowed up and maybe drill this field here, maybe get started on making another field as well. Now, I am doing more traditional type of fields here once again. You know, you're more asymmetrical. Asymmetrical is not really the right answer, but you're more grid-type shaped fields, right? I am still going that approach. It's just my personal preference on things, because I like to, instead of doing a headland pass, I like to do what I'm doing here, just go to the end and flip around. But we are going to have a few that are not this way. We're going to have a few that are kind of weird shaped. More specifically, if we talk about whenever it comes time for us to put a field that kind of runs with the edge here of the beach here, right? Now, remember, we're not allowed to do anything to this beach. We cannot touch the beach at all. So I can't put a field out there. I can't put any buildings out there. I can't do anything out there. So I think the best use of our time there is to build or create a field that kind of runs with it. I would say runs parallel with it, but it's not really parallel. It kind of is, I guess, depending on which way you want to look at it. But, you know, something that starts here and then just curves around with our land up to here. And probably a really skinny field, more than likely. I also think I'm going to really shift going heavily towards the cotton production here. I think we're going to have at least 2 fields of cotton running. Obviously, we've got our cotton field up there that we put in the ground here earlier in this episode, but we'll do probably another cotton field next episode, I would think. Probably cotton and onions over there, right? I really want to do the onions. We haven't done the onions yet. The big problem for me personally with the onions, though, is that we're going to be doing it with, you know, these mods that are not exactly a part of the pack from that DLC from the first year 1 DLC, right? So I want to do that at some point, just we haven't really got the time to do it, or haven't really had the series really to do it. I've got some other ones that we can do it on. More than likely it'll happen at some point on the Z Lanka Can You Survive 25 series, but obviously that's quite a ways away before that happens. But maybe we'll run into it again on another series. Who knows? Maybe it'll even be on the Triple Threat Challenge, right? We don't know. We really don't know. That one's all about, you know, the randomized, whatever you get, you know, whatever the actual randomizer selects for you, that's what you have to do. Could be onions, could be something else. It could be something very basic, which may be slightly boring if it's something that we've done a lot. I'm personally hoping on that series that we either get onions or we get rice. I'd be okay with corn and as well. We haven't really done a whole lot of corn in FS25. We have, but not a ton of it. So same with the rice. Haven't done a ton of that either. We certainly have done it, but just not a ton of it. So I think those 3 would be the most ideal ones for me personally that I'd like to see. But I guess we'll see. We'll see what we get, right? Plenty of seeds in here. I don't know why I was ever even considering the fact that I might have to run up there and get more seeds. I don't know why I was thinking that. But we've had plenty. It's not been a problem. I think alternating, having 2 fields always kind of ready to harvest at the same time makes a lot of sense. So we'll see if we can try to time this as well as we can. The big problem with it is going to be, you know, you can plant and harvest it at any time, right? So I don't have all of the crops memorized on how long it takes. I do know sorghum doesn't take that long. I think it's the fastest growing, but I don't have all the other ones timed, so it might be a little difficult to actually get that to come to fruition. But, you know, I think that would be the most ideal situation for us, is to be able to time a lot of this as much as possible, especially early on when you're using the hand type of tools, right? Or push behind tools or walk behind tools or whatever you want to call it. I don't know what it is, man. I just really like this. This is fun. It's just a different change of pace, I guess, is really why I like it, probably. Maybe after so many episodes, I might change my mind or my attitude towards it. But right now, it's enjoyable. Got no tractor sounds. You're just hearing the background noises, the birds and the water crashing, the river, the ocean crashing, or whatever. Yeah, we're pretty much done, gang, so we're going to leave the episode at this point. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure you smash the like, subscribe button on the case you've yet to do so. They are free to do. They help me out an absolute ton. Thank you to my members. Cannot thank them enough for all their continued support, many of which has been well past a year now. It's absolutely crazy, and I really do appreciate each and every single one of you. If you are interested in becoming a member or want to know more about what that's about, there's a link down below. You do get early access to videos like this one, including the one-tile challenge. So check that out if you're interested. There's also a link to my second channel, which is not Farming Simulator related, but if you want to watch more of me doing things that are not Farming Simulator, maybe check that out. There's a Discord down below. My Discord, I share videos from both channels on there. It has the option for you to share any kind of video that you may be working on, or images, or whatever it may be you want to get out there to other people. You can do so on my Discord as well. Thanks so much for watching. Thanks for your continued support. Really does mean a lot, and I'll see you next time.